All right, all right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? I didn't have my intro video yet, but here it is.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.
Welcome back to Alchemizing Energy. Listen, she was so good, we had to bring her back, and we're gonna continue to bring her back until y'all figure out what's up with this witchcraft, with this whole indoctrination that we are out here believing that certain people are witches. We want to demonize people and things like that. But we said, you know what? I'm so proud to know this practitioner, and I'm so proud to bring her up here today. And we're going to go into what is shamanism, what is a priest, what is a witch doctor, what's a witch, what is the difference between witchcraft and spiritualism and things like that. So, without further ado, I want to bring on special guest Queen L. Welcome to Alchemizing.
Ooh.
Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
family. I'm so glad to be back.
So glad to have you back. Listen, I the last time we did our live, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I had my daughter calling. So listen, last time I had you on, we got into what your origins, where you came from, and we ended off in a place that we said, you know, we're going to end it right there, and we're going to do another live, and we're going to get deeper into the understanding from that standpoint. We talked about your Moorish background, we talked about your evangelical background, and then right when we were getting into the actual ancestral and things like that, we were kind of getting it. I mean, because you're such a great guest,
Oh,
time just flies. You know what I'm saying?
yes. Yes,
Time
ma'am.
flies
Thank
when you're
you.
having fun. So we
Right.
didn't really get to get into what we really wanted to get into, and that is the understanding of your craft. Before we get into
Mhm.
that, I do want to promote something and show you guys right here. Um, I wanted to show you guys this so you guys get an understanding of what she has to offer. These are her electron candles right here. These are the Allegro candles that she has. Can't
Mhm.
really. So these are her. It has a little bit of that music, and so I like can't play too much of that. But these are her Allegro candles that she has for sale. So please, when we're done here, I want you guys to check out her store and her. She does these for people, and these things, help out with different things. And we're gonna get into what they help out with. She's gonna get into like teaching us about how these things work. So without
Yes.
further ado, we want to just let her. I'm gonna let you just take the reins. I'm not even gonna like say nothing. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna let you take it over from here. All right, let's
Okay.
go.
Also, so grateful to be here. I am Queen L, and I got to reiterate this title because it is just like down in my witchy soul. It says, "Who you calling a witch? Shaman, priest, witch doctor? Honey, what's the difference? is all connected in one. And one thing that I'm a teacher, okay? And you will never leave me confused. Confused, not knowing what's going on. And we got some time and I want to get right into it. But let's take a moment just to come into this energy because it's going to get thick. It's going to get thick. Okay, I got my incense going. Make sure you got everybody calm and quiet. If you want to take notes, please take notes because if you have questions, I'm here to answer your questions. So I want to just chime in with my bell and we're just going to ask Spirit to be in this podcast and just touch our hearts and minister to us right where we are, corporately and individually. Ashe. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, what is a shaman? Okay. A shaman is a spiritual practitioner who connects with the spirit world to heal, divine, and communicate with ancestors and guides. Okay. They believe that everything has a spirit or a soul. Okay. That's the shaman. The trees, the grass blades, the bugs, they believe everything has a spirit or soul, and that these spirits can offer guidance and wisdom. All right. Shamans are often found in indigenous cultures and are reverent for their ability to bridge the physical and spiritual world. So you may be on this podcast like, look, I ain't into that shit. They might think, oh, you may be religious and got on your clergy collar. Oh, that's not me. But you like the great outdoors. You like sitting under a tree. You like sitting in the grass. You have a connection to the sands of the beach. Okay. You just may be a shaman. Okay. That just may be in your bloodline, especially if you have some type of connection to tribes, Indian tribes, and things like that. So I'm gonna leave that right there. The next one is, what is a priest? A priestess. A priest or priestess is a spiritual leader who serves as an intermediary between the divine and human worlds. They often perform rituals, ceremonies, and sacraments to connect individuals with the divine. Priests and priestesses can be found in various religion traditions, such as Christianity, Judaism, and paganism. So those that we call pastors, oh, I'm about to really make somebody a little uncomfortable. Pastors, apostles, prophetess, bishops, they're priests. Because what did it say? They perform rituals and ceremonies. Every time y'all have communion, every time somebody get married, all right? It may be something special that he does when somebody is, when they open the doors of the church, or when he does a baptism, okay? A priest. I've been a priestess all my damn life. And I did not know, okay? Hey, don't shoot the messenger. Next one is a witch doctor, also known as a traditional healer or medicine man. Is a practitioner who uses magic and spiritual practices to heal and protect individuals from harm. Okay, if I can go here, if you are melanated, listen, your mama, your grandma, your auntie, your cousin, the lady across the street that'll make that soup to help people get better, baby, you've been around witch doctors all your life. I ain't scared. I ain't never scared. I said what I said. All right. They often use herbal remedies, rituals, and divination to diagnose and treat ailments. Witch doctors are commonly found in African and Afro-Caribbean traditions. All right. And last but not least, a witch. What is a witch? Me. Okay, I'm all those. But Spirit said when the African spirits came to me, they're like, you're a witch. Okay. You're a witch. A witch is a practitioner of magic and witchcraft. Oh, I feel that in my soul. Often associated with paganism and Wicca. Witches use various techniques such as spell casting, divination, herbalism to manifest change and connect with the natural world. Witches can be solitary practitioners or part of a coven or community. Um, you know what? If you really think about it, those of you that have women's ministries and things like that, and if you're given any type of remedies that, and I've been on prophets and prophetess line where they was given a prophetic word and then they told them how to put something together or to rub their body down or they're going to send them this oil or something like that for the healing and the manifestation. Baby, that's a witch. Okay. All right. And it's worth noting
He
that
said, baby, that's a witch. Okay.
that's a witch.
Right. Hey, listen, take this thing and rub it down on your back and then it should you know what I'm saying? And that will make the take some cayenne pepper, throw it outside in the front yard, and then take some salt and throw it over your arm and make sure that get some cinnamon and clap your hands 3 times. Okay, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. Listen, that's the truth. See, she know. She know. And some of y'all are thinking like, oh my gosh, she right. I remember it's a lot of things. One of my favorite things is the prayer shawls. I had a prayer shawl, honey. What would take you to heaven and back? I'll pray with that prayer shawl, putting on here, just falling out. Prayer shawl, handkerchiefs. I seen a prophet come into town and everybody coming to the church and he preaching and stuff and the drummer on the drum and he want to give the drummer a word. He throw that handkerchief and they go, he on the floor. Y'all, that's magic. Okay. So it's worth noting that these categories are not mutually exclusive, and many practitioners blend elements from multiple traditions to create their unique spiritual practice. This is why I say when you become a practitioner, or if you visit a practitioner, that one is not going to do it like the next one. Everybody has their own unique flavor in doing things. And that's what I like. And I'm going to get this on the shirt. I keep saying that your practice is customizable to you. Okay. So there's going to be some things that you see me do that you may not see Genesis do. Genesis may do things that I don't do, but it all works together. But I guarantee whoever spirit leads you to get what you need, you're going to get what you need. Okay. Any questions or comments at this time? Because I want to go into what is witchcraft.
No, I think you know what I'm saying. Just keep going, keep it running. You know what I'm saying. We'll let people ask their questions at the end.
Okay, wonderful. So what is witchcraft? I want y'all to really listen to this. I want you to lean in a little bit. All right. If you're a Christian, you super sanctified, ain't no spirit gonna jump on you, baby. Ain't no spirit. You're here for a reason. You probably just looking around sneaky. It's okay. You need to know this information. Just lean in. Listen. Witchcraft is a complex and multifaceted concept that has evolved over time and varies across cultures. At its core, witchcraft refers to the use of alleged supernatural powers or magic, often associated with rituals, spells, and incantations. Historically, witchcraft has been viewed as a malevolent force used to inflict harm or misfortune on others. This perception has led to widespread persecution and violence against individuals accused of witchcraft, particularly during the medieval and early modern periods in Europe. However, modern perspectives on witchcraft have shifted, and many practitioners now view it as a positive and empowering practice. Some forms of modern witchcraft, such as Wicca, emphasize the use of magic for healing, protection, and personal growth. I want to say this. You know, I kind of envy people that I meet, and they say, "Oh, I grew up as a witch." I envy that. All right. I didn't come up in a super. That's probably why I'm here. I didn't grow up in a super spiritual household. My grandmother, she went to the palm reader. And my mom knew what to talk about her. But one day, she was like, everybody go to the palm reader. My mama told me she went. My grandmother husband went. My grandma went, and I think my grandma husband went. And my mama said she was too scared to go in there because my great grandma raised her in the church. My grandma was her mother was never a spiritual person, but she would go to the palm reader, honey. And when she would tell me that, I would be so scared. But now I wish I'd be like, Grandma, can you take me to the palm reader? You know, so I wish I would have known. And there's just so many levels to this. Even the way we cook as melanated people. Even it doesn't even matter what your background is, your skin color is. Everybody can identify somebody in their family doing some form of magic. And they say, put this spice in here, it'll help with that. And I know my children, my first husband, his mother came out of that. They was deep in South Carolina with it. I seen the woman in action. Her and her husband was not together. I seen them in action. He told me, he used to laugh about it. And he said, my grandma is a witch doctor. I said, huh? A witch doctor? And we deep in the church, right? They, yeah, she a witch doctor. I'm going to take you down there. You going to see. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he thought it was so freaking funny. And I remember, Spirit said, tell this. Good, I will. I remember going there, and she had a big, long house. They owned the land and everything. And her and her husband had gotten divorced. This woman was in her 80s at the time, maybe in her late 70s. But she had chickens in the backyard and everything. And she had this big house, clean, all this thing. So when I went in, she said, how you doing, with that Geechee voice? And, oh, God, she could cook and everything. And so I'm looking around like, okay, this ain't, what's witchy about it? He said, you gonna see. At night, there was a room on the other side of the house, and there was a room that the door was closed, and nobody was to go in that room. I'm thinking that's what she did her work in. So we had to sleep near that room, and it was scary as hell down there. It was scary. We closed the door, we locked the door, honey. We didn't even do no husband and wife stuff. We was in the bed like this because we could feel that.
Wait, next to the room?
It was somewhere. It was dark. I don't know. It was next door, down the hall, but we was close to the room.
You felt the energy of it.
Yes.
Wow.
We was in there like this. Praying in tongues and everything.
Right. Afraid of
Afraid.
the ancestors, right?
Yeah. They probably was tugging on me then. So that was the first thing. I said, oh God. I said, baby, it was scary last night. He said, I told you. He said, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm like, what else I gotta see? So everything was quiet when we left. Went to the store, came back. When we came back, there was about 5 or 6 cars in the yard parked around her house. People sitting there patiently waiting. I said, what? He said, I told you. He said, wait, come on. Went into the house, and when we walked into the house, she was bringing somebody out the room, and she was talking her Geechee talk, and the person was like, thank you so much. I think her name was Queen. I think her nickname was Queen. Because one of her daughters, she actually named Queen. And I was like, thank you so much and everything. And she said, you use that scripture and do so. And they had a brown bag, I guess with the herbs or whatever. And she was shorter than me. She looked like she was maybe 4'11". Shorter than me. They had the brown bag, and they had the scripture and whatever else she told them to do. And then you could tell she had a little money clutched in her hand, or she put it down in her bra. And then the next person came in. Okay. So that's what she was doing. She was working the herbs and the counseling and everything. So we went outside. He said, let me take you out there where my granddaddy at. Went out there, granddaddy out there. His skin was like my mom. My mom was Blackfoot Indian. He had that pretty, his hair was all gray, just fine, pretty hair. But he was just country boy. So he was Geechee too. But when we went in the shed where he was, there was nothing but money on the mother freaking table. The table was covered with money. So I don't know if he was in there giving readings, giving people spiritual advice, but the money was all on the table. He had it where, okay, he put the chair in the corner. And my husband at the time, he was like, Granddad, you paid out here. He said, boy, don't you touch my money. He said, I'm gonna give you some, but just don't you touch my money.
Don't touch my money, right?
Yeah. And then he was like, who you got with you? He said, this my wife. How you get her? He said, yeah, I'm gonna give you some money for that pretty lady. I'm gonna give you some money. So it was amazing. And so when we left out, somebody was coming in. I think we left and let them do their thing because it was they had it going on. And so my ex was like, this is what they do. This is how they make the money. He be out there doing his thing. Grandma be doing her thing. Then with his mother, she would tell me things like, if the baby have hiccups, tear a brown piece of paper bag, put it under their feet. If they have fever, cut the onion, tape it to their feet. It'll draw the fever out. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know that was witchery, or somebody practicing their roots. I didn't grow up like that because nobody talked about that.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, like 6 years old, and I was running this fever. I looked in the mirror and I saw the devil. Do you know that I was running 106 fever? She put them onions in my feet, and by the end of I don't even whatever, I woke up and I didn't have no fever no more. I didn't think I was the devil or whatever it was that was going on. But I was hallucinating. My fever was so high I was hallucinating.
Wow.
And they took that onion, put it in my sock. That onion cooked. The onion was black.
Yes, it turned black.
Yep.
It turned black.
Y'all, people be doing it on you. You just don't even realize it. These were our ways of our ancestors, and we up here like shunning it. And it's the thing that probably kept you alive a few times. So.
Come on. And what you saying that, Genesis, it reminded my grandma did some more stuff. Yeah, she did stuff. We couldn't afford. My grandmother had to take care of me and my baby sister, so she was getting a check for us. We were getting food stamps. Them the paper food stamps back then. And grandma had a house full of people. She had my uncle that was mentally ill, my other uncle that was mentally ill. They was down in the basement. I don't know how we lived in this little tiny house, but it seemed like it was so big. And she kept it clean, organized. And grandma didn't play. I called her the mean grandma. But I remember I would get ear infections all the time. I was a very sickly child. And grandma, she was mean. She would cuss you out and everything. But when you would get sick, that's when you would see her be her softest. That's when her feminine energy, her nurturing, caregiving thing. She didn't want nothing to happen to them grandbabies. I was like, oh, she really do love us. So she would make us get in the bed, and she would go to the store and get a bunch of oranges and apples and things of that nature, make soups and all of that. And she would make sure she had, oh God, I'm gonna tell y'all about the Vicks Vapor Rub. Now that was horrendous. But that's what we would eat for about 3 days, and then we would feel better. That's a part of the ways of our ancestors. If it was really bad, don't y'all do this. If it was really bad, she had big fingers. Because her great-grandparents were big Indians. Anyway, she had a big finger. One finger was this side. She would take them big fingers and dig in that jar of vapor rub and say, swallow it, and make us swallow that damn vapor rub. I don't know how the hell we survived that.
Oh, man.
But we were better. Yeah.
Well, guess what vapor rub has?
What?
Eucalyptus.
That's right.
That's all vapor rub is eucalyptus and some kind of petroleum jelly combined with eucalyptus. I don't know if the petroleum jelly was good for us to swallow, but
Right.
Right. But we made it through.
Yeah. And then I had an auntie up north. We moved to Ohio. I was about 13, and she had a lot of kids. Okay. And this was the religious auntie, honey. This was the auntie that was a party girl. Now she all into Jesus. Okay. So if anybody sniffled, coughed, or anything, so it was the twins, it was me, it was it was a lot of us. Okay. And we would love to go to her house because the house was so big, and we would play, and she would make good meals, and we would sit at the table together and eat. So anybody sniffled, and we would try to hide it because we knew what was going to happen. She said, "Oh, who was sniffling?" Like, "Oh, nobody, Aunt Bessie, nobody was." She said, "I heard somebody. Y'all ain't gonna be sick in here, too many of y'all." And she said, "Come on, baby, come on, y'all line up." And the first time it happened, the twins was like, "Oh man, y'all don't even know what's about." I said, "What's going on? Why we lining up?" And they were trying to push people to the front. I was like, "Okay, so the newbies, the new cousin, the Southerners, they put us in the front." I was like, "Oh, okay," because I love Aunt Bessie. She take us to church, and I liked her hats, her outfit, or whatever. But honey, you don't know what you're living with, on people living with. So we got in the front of the line, me and my baby sister, and we was like, "Oh, what's going on?" We in this room, and she go and get something. I said, "Oh, she gonna give us a little medicine, baby." She had that tablespoon in a little bottle. I couldn't see what it said, but I soon found out it was castor oil. My God, today. So she had a little juice for us to drink, but we had to take that castor oil and stand on her face and swallow it, and open our mouth to make sure that we swallowed it.
That castor oil was nasty. I didn't have that castor oil,
Yeah.
So was
That
she
was
a witch?
had
Was
to
she a
be.
witch doctor? Was she a shaman? Or was she a priest?
Right. What's
You
the difference?
understand? Let's go.
Which one was she, y'all? So that was another incident. And do y'all remember an old medicine called 666?
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I had that. It was some other medicines, and I believe those were natural remedies, and they sold them in the store because them things were nasty. But you would take it and you would be better. So that was one, and there's some others too. But look it up, 666. I'm like, how in the world? But we've been taught 666 is of the devil, but 666 is really not. It's a part of our DNA. Somebody knew something back then. Oh, I'm gonna add church.
Shoot, it might be some that tussin. That might be that tussin, honey.
Oh, you think they turned it into tussin?
That
The
might
name.
be that tussin called 666. There might be that tussin. They said they always gave us tussin whenever we, you know what I'm saying? That comedian said this. But so
Yeah.
666 cold, it aids in relieving distress, discomfort, or cold by its fourfold action: analgesic, antipyretic, and a laxative for release of cough. So it's interesting that it was a laxative as well.
Does it say the ingredients?
Let me see. What's the ingredients? It ain't saying here the ingredients. Let me see if I have it on here. Action and ingredients. Let me see if I can read it. Antipyrine, ammonium chloride, magnesium sulfate, and Epsom salt and citric acid.
What you say?
What?
Whoa.
So, Epsom salt, citric acid, magnesium sulfate. So all this stuff is really laxative. Ammonium chloride, I don't know what that is for, but antipyrine. Let me see what antipyrine is. Let's see what that is. Antipyrine. Antipyrine. It's a medication that acts as an analgesic, pain reliever, and anti-fever reducer.
I think
Synthesized.
ammonium chloride is like a bleach thing.
But you know what's so crazy is that now they just tell you to get some to get you some Tylenol, but the Tylenol reduces the pain and the fever, but it does not do what the Epsom salt and the citric acid. And so citric acid is going to increase your vitamin C intake, and then you have like the magnesium, and you have the other laxative. The what was the other one I said that was in there?
Um,
The
Epsom
magnesium Epsom salt, and you had
salts.
the magnesium sulfate, so that makes you poo, and then you
Uh-huh.
have the analgesic that allows you to like get down your fever, And so
Right.
it gets rid of it gets rid of the problem because all illness starts in the gut. So if you actually poo, that's how you know that right now these medicines that they did, all they did was take it down to the Tylenol, which stopped the fever and stopped the pain.
Right.
It got rid of the magnesium part that makes you go to the bathroom and get rid of, and the salt and the Epsom salt that you
Mm-hmm.
ingest to get rid of that, and the citric acid that increases the immune system. And then
Mm-hmm.
ammonium chloride. Let's see what ammonium chloride does. I
Oh,
did.
I got it right here. Is an inorganic chemical, a white crystalline salt, highly soluble in water, used as a fertilizer in dry cell batteries and in some medicine as an expectorant.
Expectorant, so it makes you cough up the mucus. So it helps you
Yes.
get rid of. So this 666 cold medicine that they had back in the day that they probably don't even give out no more was
Mm-hmm.
better at curing stuff because it cured the cough, it stopped the pain, and it made you get rid of the illness within your gut.
I remember that.
So you're pooping it out, it's getting rid of your fever, and then it's getting rid of the pain and all that stuff all at once. And it's also got some citric acid, which is going to I think citric acid has vitamin C in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And this is what they used to do. This is what they used to give us, right? And
Right.
somehow the pharmaceutical companies just said no, just give the child Tylenol.
So they can get more medicine, come back, and all. Not curing us. Not curing us. Um,
Exactly.
and somebody brought up black drought. I forgot about that. Backdraft. I think it's DRAUGT mixed with the castor oil. Oh my god. I didn't go through that.
Backdraft. Draw.
Black drought. It's DRAUGHT, if I'm not mistaken. It's proper. Hold on.
Black
Oh.
drought. Medicine. Yeah, black drought. It's a laxative.
Yep. Yeah, that was bad too. Ugh.
Senna and magnesium. So it's a combination of senna, magnesium, and then you mix it with castor oil. You are just probably shooting at the you know what I'm saying? It's probably, you know what I'm saying, firing across the room, foul. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Exorcist, but from the other way, the other side. You know what I'm saying? So this is how they used to heal each other back then. Okay, and it sounds like they knew that all illness started in the gut. And to get rid of the illness, the first thing they got to make you do is to go to the bathroom and
Mhm.
to get all that out your bowels and get all that going, and then you can heal. And this is what they knew from back in the day, because
Yes.
all like medicines from back it had some. It was some kind of stuff that's gonna make you go to the bathroom, go number two. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We got
Mhm.
away from all that. We just take. Oh, my back hurt. Take a Tylenol. Oh, my this hurt. Oh, I'm gonna take a ibuprofen. Well,
Mhm.
no, get the poison out your system, and then because the inflammation and stuff like that is also the things that you're eating and things like that. Your stomach, all that stuff. You got to get rid of all that things that causes inflammation and get rid of everything in your body, so your body is
Mhm.
not focused on what's going on in your stomach and your gut, and it can go right to that area that's having the issue. We need something to push all that pork out. Exactly. All
Mhm.
that pork out. Yes, all them parasites.
Right. Right.
Right. A lot of this stuff is really based on parasites. I've heard that there's some parasites that look like spiders and all type of stuff. That when you actually like were to boo them out, it'd be like some wild stuff, like huge cod
Oh.
liver oil. Let me tell you something. So
Mhm.
that's what we're talking about. Okay, so we're so this is the things that these so-called the witches know. We so-called us witches, right? Oh, you're a witch,
Right.
right? Oh no, but we know exactly what to give you to get rid of the illness. If someone say this, that, the other's wrong with me, I know. Okay, this is what you da 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 da. I can run it down. Boom. You probably need this, that, the other. Some turmeric, some
Mhm.
blah 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 blah. Black seed oil, sour sop, blah blah blah. And then these people got demonized. Let's get into the story of what happened to witches. And who were the witches? Well, who were the witch? What is a witch?
Uh, okay, so let's talk about it I'm going to just talk about witchcraft, and it's going to take us into it. However, modern perspectives on witchcraft have shifted, and many practitioners now view it as a positive and empowering practice. Some forms of modern witchcraft, such as Wicca, emphasize the use of magic for healing, protection, and personal growth. That was our last thought. So the key aspects of witchcraft: magic and spell casting, the use of rituals, incantation, and magical tools to achieve specific goals or outcomes. Spiritual practices, connection with nature, the divine, or ancestors to access guidance, wisdom, and power. Healing and divination, the use of magic and intuition to heal, protect, and gain insight into the future. Now, the cultural variations. African and Afro-Caribbean tradition. They emphasize the use of magic for healing, protection, and spiritual growth. European folklore often associated witchcraft with evil, harm, and malevolence. Modern pagan and Wiccan tradition view witchcraft as a positive and empowering practice, emphasizing personal growth, healing, and spiritual connection. Overall, witchcraft is a complex and multifaceted concept that has evolved over time and varies across cultures. While its history is marked by persecution and violence, modern perception on witchcraft emphasizes its potential for potential growth, healing, and spiritual connection. So we're going to look up what the witch trials were. And so what's interesting to me, I'm going to put this out here. This is what I feel. Y'all let me know what y'all think. When it comes to the Bible, there's so many different stories about the Bible, how it came about. We are now finding out that a lot of what the Bible teaches is this in connection with what everybody else believes. Okay, but Christians are scream loud and proud that we are the only right religion. Everybody else is of the devil. Okay. When I look in the Bible and it speaks of, because one thing I asked was, why do Christians hate witches? Because the Bible speaks of suffer not a witch to live. It's not in Mississippi, okay? Suffer not a witch to live and all that stuff. I believe, okay, that was put in there to dumb down our ancestors. Because I said in the last show that I was in that they watched us. You don't think they studied us before they captured our ancestors? You don't think they watched them? You don't think they seen some stuff they never seen before? And they realize these are some powerful people. So we've got to create something, and we're going to use them for whatever that little blueprint they had. Okay, if we're going to use them, we got to dumb them down. So I believe those scriptures were put in there, so quote unquote scriptures, the word of God was put in there so that they would be afraid to utilize their magic. That's just my take.
Wow, interesting. Because there was a Bible, a slave Bible that was out before that the slaves read that was different from the actual Bible.
Is that still accessible? Is that still around? Can we get that?
I think there is. I think you can get it. It's called the slave Bible. Yep. There's a slave Bible.
I'm definitely gonna look that up. Another thing that's interesting too, and I'm gonna talk about the witch trials in a minute. Another thing that was interesting too, was the lost books. The lost books is the book of Enoch and things like that. It talks about Jesus' life and what he did as a little boy and all of that. And it's just, if I can have to say, it fucks your mind up because you're reading one book. And so now they're talking about the lost books. Now, when that came on the scene, so preachers started talking about that. Then there were preachers saying, don't y'all get into them lost books. You don't know who wrote them books. Well, damn it, we don't know who wrote the Bible.
Mm. Oh, girl. Mm-mm.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. I'm like, they didn't want us to have knowledge of anything. Just come to church, build a congregation, be a number in their congregation, pay your tithe, baby. You better pay your tithe or God gonna curse you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that. Okay, let's talk about the witch trials. Okay, the witch trials were a series of hearings, the persecutions of people accused of witchcraft, particularly in the colonial Massachusetts between 1692 and 1693. The most infamous of these trials were the Salem witch trials, which resulted in the execution of 20 people, 14 of whom were women. I didn't even know it was men included. Did y'all know that? I thought it was all women. That's interesting. The trials were characterized by a lack of due process in the use of dubious evidence, such as spectral evidence, testimony about dreams and vision, and touching tests. Exams to determine if a person had any physical marking that were believed to be signs of a witch's touch. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Ooh. The accused were often elderly women who were marginalized and vulnerable. And the trials were fueled by fear, superstition, and social tension. The Salem witch trials are widely regarded as a dark chapter in American history, and they have been the subject of numerous books, plays, and film. They serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of mass hysteria, false accusation, and the importance of holding due process in the rule of law. What gave them the audacity, the right to just take somebody's life?
Mm. And what was it mostly? What? Who? Elderly women. And they want to leave
Elderly
out the
women.
part that there was a lot of black women that were caught up in that too. A lot of them people were the healers in the community. Same thing that they did down in like Louisiana, certain areas. Listen, the elders in the African traditional religions is where you really get your power. That's when you become more powerful. The most powerful is when you become older.
Yes. Yes, because you get to a mind frame where you're like, I don't care what people say. You know, you've done been through so much, and most of us have stared death in the face. It's almost like you just have this epiphany, like something opens up, and you cross over to the other side, and that's when it's just you become an elder. And I didn't understand the power of an elder. I just thought, oh, them the old ladies on the, but when they got the praying and laying hands and giving you wisdom, baby, it did turn your whole world upside down.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I'm proud to say that I'm an elder. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. What do you and you saying the thing that made elders so powerful is because of the things that they have been through. So they're praying from their own heart and their own pain.
Yes.
From what
Yes.
they've been through. So they're able to pray into you based on their understanding of what you were going through.
Hmm.
And what's more powerful than a grandma's prayer?
Come on. Come
And you
on.
get them women, and they still do this in the church today. They have altar call, and who does he call up? Who does the pastor call up? The elders, the female elders get around that person and touch that person and pray over that person. It don't even be the pastor be the main one on the mic, but it be really I don't be hearing the pastor. When you get in that prayer at altar call, it be the elders around you whispering in your ear, praying for you.
Yes.
And that is what the real power is. You think the power is the guy that got the microphone. The power is the one touching and praying in your ear when you hear that prayer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Well, let me just be quiet and let you go. I'm sorry.
Ooh, that's good, honey. Keep on. Just come back. And Spirit lead. This is good. You mentioned Genesis about the black women. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give some information about that. Black women played a significant role in the Salem witch trials, but their stories have often been overlooked or misrepresented. One of the most well-known cases is that of, yes, Taituba, if I'm saying her name right. I've heard about her. An enslaved woman from the West Indies who worked in the household of Reverend Samuel Parry. She was one of the first people accused of witchcraft and became a key figure in the trials. Her story is complex and multifaceted, confessing to witchcraft and implicated several other women, including Candy, another enslaved black woman. Candy was accused of practicing witchcraft and was forced to confess, but she later recanted her statement. Mary Black, a Miss Mary Black. What? Is that where it come from? Is Miss Mary Mack or Miss all dressed in black? That's what
Mary
is that
Mack,
what
all dressed in black. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
okay.
a very, very dark song. Mm-hmm.
Yo. Okay, let me finish this. Mary Black, a third enslaved black woman, was also accused of witchcraft. She was arrested, examined, and imprisoned, but eventually released due to lack of evidence. These women's experiences highlight the intersection of racism, sexism, and classism that characterized the Salem witch trials. Black women, particularly those who were enslaved, were vulnerable to accusations of witchcraft and faced harsher punishments than their white counterparts. It's essential to remember that the Salem witch trials were not just about witchcraft, but also about, come on, y'all, the social, economic, and cultural tensions of the time. By examining the experiences of black women like Tatuba, Candy, and Mary Black, we can gain a deeper understanding of this complex period in American history.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, that makes me emotional because I'm sitting in the seat, in the energy of a black woman that can openly say, yes, I'm a witch.
Mm-hmm.
They suffer. See, this is why working, oh, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. This is why working with your ancestors is so powerful. This is why what I said about karma in the last show is so powerful. They've already paid the price.
Yep.
They've already walked that unbeaten path. And so I just did a live on my fan page, and the title was Tested to be Trusted. So you're gonna be this shit that we're going through, people talking about us, people getting mad, that's lightweight compared to what our ancestors went through. So if you're a practitioner or thinking about practicing, remember my words. Stand on your square. You can't come into this thing weak. You got to remember, my ancestors went through more. Somebody talking about me, somebody lying. So that's lightweight. These women were burned. These women were beaten. They probably was raped and tormented. They're not going to tell all that, okay? They went through all of that. So I, myself, and so many other beautiful black men and women and other people can sit in the seat and say, I am a practicing hoodoo practitioner. I'm a witch. I'm a shaman. I'm a healer. I'm intuitive. I'm a medium, because they paid the price. And like I said before, when I was coming into this thing, and my sister told my boyfriend at the time, if Tyee goes back, it's a slap in the ancestor's face. And so I put that charge out there with all my energy behind it. If you are about to step into this thing, or you have just stepped into this thing, or you've been into it for a while and you're thinking about going back, it's a slap in the ancestor's face.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Genesis. I know you got something to say.
Mimi Blaze said everything black people do spiritually, they call it witchcraft.
Yes. Yes. Everything.
And make movies about voodoo, the zombie, the this, the that. Listen, if they wanted to create fear of the person that was healing people in the community. What kind of crazy stuff is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they want people to be afraid of the woman that heals people?
Yes.
You know what? Another story. The woman with the cats in the house. All the woman with all the cats. Remember? Everybody got their own
Yeah.
all the cats, and all of them
Yes.
afraid to go to her to we all got that woman lived on the edge of the thing, and she was called the cat woman.
Yes. 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 You are so right.
Why
You
did
are
she have
so right.
at her house?
I guess she was the magic woman. I would think
Listen, cats are a very, very powerful animal.
they are. They
And,
are.
and they don't just come around your house for nothing.
Right. Because honey, I go out some days, they just be looking at me. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Right.
Especially them black cat.
Now, let me tell you something. Them cats, listen, I was pregnant. And that's how you know you're pregnant sometimes. The cat.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't know you was pregnant and you saw a black cat?
Saw them cats outside my thing, and I found out I was pregnant. Mm-hmm. You
Wow.
start randomly seeing cats outside your door.
Yes.
Somebody in the house is pregnant.
I
Mm-hmm.
did not know that. I've never heard that. I've always had the fish dream. Mama always was
Mm-hmm.
the fish dream.
But see,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Everybody got like different practices or whatever based on what grew up with. But then they call that witchcraft. Understanding nature, understanding that cats are probably attracted to a certain smell. They're pregnant
Mm-hmm.
off. It's not hocus pocus. The woman probably produces some kind of a chemical in her body that allows a cat that's smelling it and it attracts the cat. So you
Mm.
start seeing a lot of cats around the house. Like, where are all these cats coming from? And you find out you're pregnant. It might be some chemical. That's what I believe. It's something in the body that the cat
Yeah.
to. Yeah, and then you find
Woo.
out that even like when a baby is sleeping, you gotta make sure the cat don't. They said the cat don't take the baby's breath, or will
Yeah.
come
Is that true?
because it's the milk on the baby's breath, and it's the cat will try to like drink the milk, and so that's what suffocates the baby. But everybody
Okay.
wants to think that magic and the craft is hocus pocus, but it's really scientific.
Mm.
That's the part that people don't realize is that there's a science to it, but people don't trust that science because it's pseudo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We just like got finished looking at 666 medication that now they give you Tylenol when you have a fever, but they don't give you a laxative, vitamin D, and Epsom and some salt too. And magnesium is another form of salt too,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
you might be losing salt. It could be all kind of different stuff going on because you might be sick or whatever from whatever illness, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
losing salt. So you get all those different things. It is replenishing the salt in your body. The magnesium in your body is giving you vitamin C, and it is helping you cough up the mucuses in your body. They don't even have medication that does all that right now without it being like some kind of a weird thing to it.
Right. Right. And I believe that's why we got so many gut issues,
No, you know what
colon
they did? They
cancer, and
replaced
all of that.
the ammonia with alcohol.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
See y'all, just drying us up in there, drying us up.
Vicks Vapor Rub, right?
Yeah.
Have like the expectorant. It might have a little bit of acetaminophen into it, but then they have the alcohol into it along with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't
Mm-hmm.
have the laxative aspect. So
Right.
the new medicines are only there just to do a fraction of what the older medicines did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They trying to kill us off.
That people say that witches are dangerous because because if you actually start to like listen to a person that's actually understanding the herbs and what they do, then you get rid of your pharmaceutical drugs. You're not taking Tylenol no more because Tylenol takes out the lining of your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you ulcers. Same thing
Right.
with ibuprofen.
Mm-hmm. They mess with your liver, right? Ibuprofen.
It thins out the blood, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
they replace
Um.
those things that was helping us with stuff like that.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. And then I'm gonna talk about why do Christians hate witches and I'll be done. I want to do a little reading before we get off the air. But I remember when I was in, this is one of the most powerful healing. I've experienced a lot of healing by way of spirit, by way of magic, but this is one of the most powerful ones. When I was in Pennsylvania, damn, it seemed like when I left North Carolina, I went through cancer, Baker cyst, all that. Well, I had a Baker cyst behind my knee. It would swell up. It's about big as a golf ball, maybe a little bit bigger than a golf ball. And I dealt with it for years, and it would swell up, and I would limp.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband at the time, he would always be looking for, natural ways. He was very knowledgeable in a lot of areas. I appreciated, the time we shared.
He was a Moor, right? He was a Moor, right?
Yeah, he's a Moor.
There's something about the Moors, though, but they also they do study the African spirituality to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that they know that, but
Yeah, that was a blessing because this right here. So I went first and said, let's go to the doctor, get it checked out. He said they're gonna have this shit on paper because what I'm about to help you with, this is powerful. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, let's just go to the doctor, let them do what they do. So I went to the doctor that did their scans and everything, and it was like, yes, ma'am, you got a Baker cyst. And you're so young, we don't want to go in. It's gonna leave a terrible scar and cause more problems. And I'm saying, okay, I gotta live with this. Just said basically, because we don't want to go in and cause any other problems in your leg. So he said we got to talking to the Caucasian people on his job, and because he did sanitation, this big company at night. They washed the walls and stuff, but they did food in there. And they started tell him about a chiropractor, an older white man that did healing practices at his facility. But they had to be secretive about it and just say you're going to get, some chiropractic work done. You get back there, you tell him what's wrong, and he work on it. And so I think we paid about $100 to go. And so that covered everything. We went and I'm looking around and I felt spirit. Now I know I felt spirit. It was a different energy in there. Mm-hmm. So we went back there and I never forget how that man, he looked just like the man that diagnosed me when they couldn't find out, what was going on when I had cancer. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just angelic to me. His hair was all white, short man, clean cut and everything. He was like, what's the problem? And I told him about the Baker cyst, what was going on. He said, okay, get up on the table. I said, all right, get on the table. What are you going to say? So then he started pulling these things out the cabinet with the little rubber thing, little metal. It had rubber on it. Mm. And so he got the tapping. He said, put your leg up. He propped my knee up. And he was talking to my husband, and he was just tapping around my knee with different things. And while he was tapping, I was falling asleep. And my husband said, she relaxed. He said, yeah, this is relaxing. And in my mind, I'm like, this some bullshit.
All right, I'm getting sleepy. What are we doing here? Right.
Yeah, I'm like,
go home. I'm sleepy now. I'm gonna go to bed.
How are you helping me? I've been in pain. So I let him do what he do. And they laughing, they talking, and I was kind of irritated. I was like, we're laughing and talking. Work on me, because we're used to the doctor. But right. They was having a good time.
Get a scalpel out and cut your whole leg open.
Tell a nurse to come in here.
Get a needle, suction it out. You know what I'm saying? Get the needle and just suck whatever it is in there out. Yeah. Squeeze it together and let the stuff shoot out.
Right, make you cry.
Right.
I was looking for all that.
Right.
So we was in there about an hour, and then he said, "What else you got going on?" I'm like, "He said you're fine now." I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay." He said, "If you have any problems, come back." He said, "But I'm sure you're fine." I'm looking at him like, he said, "I assure you, ma'am, you're fine." So I told him my other problem. They gave me the vitamins I needed. We paid like another $40 or whatever. And so I forgot all about it. It must have worked immediately for me to forget all about it. Y'all, I tell you, about 2 weeks later, I said, I was walking around up and down. I said, what the? I Called my husband. I said, the baker cyst is not there anymore. Because even if it wasn't swollen, I could feel the impression in the back of my leg. Y'all, that had to be 13 years ago. Never came back. I got on record. I had a freaking baker cyst, and that man healed me.
Just by tapping on your legs, probably like a lymphatic drainage issue. He had to
Yes,
probably hit certain areas to let the lymph nodes drain in that area where that cyst was happening. And
yes,
but now what they do, you have Dr. Pimper Popper that'll go in and take a scalpel and cut the whole thing out, try to get to the root of it. Now you end up with a scar, right?
mm-hmm,
They don't even do that. Whatever that was he did, they don't even do that anymore. What they do is they cut it open, they take it out. So doctors only know how to cut things off, cut it out, rip it out, you know what I'm saying? Suction it
yes,
out or whatever. They don't know how to not do things without actually breaking the skin barrier. You know what I'm saying?
yes, yes.
And
Causing more
everything else that
problems.
they do have is like, some kind of a remedy, just a temporary thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And,
and another thing, we can't be only thinking about color either, because I went to a Asian practitioner, and listen, you
they
go to the
good.
Asians, they listen. All he did was take my pulse and look at my tongue, and then went into the back somewhere. I think he did a reading, a I Ching reading, and came back and was like, and then started grabbing herbs out the thing and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we've gotten away from that. Ayurvedic
Yes,
medicine. See, when people of other cultures come here, they bring their doctors with them. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Indians not only go to the hospital. I have never seen an Indian person in the hospital. I just thought about
I
that.
did in Ohio. I had an Indian doctor that
No,
I.
I'm saying in the emergency room or
Oh, yes, you're right.
wait
You're
a minute.
right.
I've never even seen a Asian person. They must
You're
go to a
right.
different hospital. What hospital they go to? Because they don't go to the emergency room.
Or
But
they
they
choose
have
not to practice in the emergency room because they can't give their expertise, probably.
But they have Ayurveda, and then you have the certain Chinese. They have like their own medicine and their own
Hmm.
practitioners that they go to, and
Right.
and and those practitioners are not cutting you open, and they practice a holistic lifestyle that is not just about waiting until it gets so bad that you have to get it cut off.
Yes. Yes.
Why do we wait until it got to get cut off?
Right.
Because we gotten away from our natural practices. We want to call our practice witchcraft. But what is Ayurveda? What is acupuncture? What are all these other things? But
Acupuncture
but
is
but, but
another one.
us grabbing some herbs and everything like that, then we're witches.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
then
we're
you take
witches.
a pen and
Evil witches.
stick
Evil.
what's that stuff called where you take the suction cup, put on your back, and sometimes they'll even bloodlet it. You know what I'm saying? Let the blood come out and all this other
Oh,
crazy stuff. What's it called?
yeah. I forget. I
Cupping.
don't know. I know
Cupping.
cupping. Okay.
You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So all these other cultures have their own practices, but our
Mhm.
practices has been demonized and
Yes.
told to be witchcraft. And all these other cultures have their shamanic practices. Listen, if I will give somebody $10 if they go to the emergency room and see an Indian person in the
Mm. Not go see it.
where,
Not
where
gonna see it.
where who is treating them? Where are they going?
Mhm. Um, I'm glad you brought that cup and it made me think about another thing. My ex-husband. When I first married him, now I want y'all to listen to me, ladies, because breast cancer is going wild. Okay. And I'm gonna give y'all some enlightenment on this. All right. So when I got to him or whatever, we had a great sex life or whatever. But he said he noticed that my breasts were hard in areas. He said, your breasts is, I was like, huh? We like, what you trying to say? He said, baby, it's hard areas in your breast area. He said, I just feel led to massage it out. I said, I was confused. I was like, okay. He said, do you feel, he said, your back hurt, right? I said, yeah, my back hurt all the time. And And somebody that I knew had a breast reduction. He said, we don't want you to go through that. He said, I believe I can help you. He said, I just need to get that tension out of your breast. Does it seem like you're holding the stress in your breast? So for about a year, he would get consistently massage areas out of my breast. And I could literally feel it because it would hurt like hell when he would get those areas. And then after a while, my breast got soft and more supple and all of that. And I felt better. And the pain left my back. I believe if he had not did that for me, I probably would have had breast cancer because it was like hard rocks in my chest. So
Mm.
if there's any type of pain in your body, like for instance, I'm very aware of that. I always pay attention. If I feel any type of stress, like I felt stress in my arm here, this is constant pain, I start massaging it. If you
Mm.
feel your feet, and you'll feel that energy because it's a buildup of negative energy. That's all it is. You'll feel that stuff release. Also, if you can and will, we pay money for everything else. We need to have money set aside things for massages and things like that, especially as Black women, melanated women. We need those type of treatment. And what happens is we go through these things, we hold the stresses in our body. Next thing you know, we got all types of cancers and diseases and everything. And like Genesis said, they cutting shit off when all we had to do was get that stress out of our body. So now
Yes.
we have people dealing with chakras and things like that. Reiki. So if you know of any of that, you know that I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the
Mm.
truth.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy is that my godmother is a shaman and she's an actual healer. She went to Peru to the Andes Mountains and got her shamanhood. What's interesting is that she before that went to do Huna. She went all over the world and learned all the different modalities, and she has a thing called heal that self. You know what I'm saying? And a lot
Mm.
of these modalities are really about going within and healing yourself. You know what I'm saying? And she has this one neuro-linguistic way that she actually brings you. It's like I'm not sure if it's a past life or whatever it is, but she walks you through certain emotions that you have. And what she says is that what happens is that when you go through a trauma, it crystallizes in the body and it sits somewhere. And so whenever you ever think about a negative thought, sometimes you'll feel it in a certain area. Like, oh, something so and so did this to me. Where do you feel it at? Oh, my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my leg hurt. Oh, my back hurt. Right. And so what you do is you focus on that area, and then what you do is you feel it on every level of your body, and then you ask your subconscious mind to let that emotion go.
Mm.
And then
Wow.
you continue to you feel it on all levels until you don't feel it anymore, and then you just release it. And when you do that, the pain releases as well as the
Wow.
thought itself of like that traumatic incident. And it's very difficult to really go back into that thought pattern again. These are the things that these people that they call people witches that they do for people. Um, these shamanic people that they do for people using sound. People are surprised. A lot of these therapies include sounds. Um,
Yes.
you'd be surprised that certain sounds heal certain aspects of the body. They
Yes.
could trigger dopamine in the brain, and then that dopamine, like say if I'm having a if I'm meditating and I'm thinking about something negative, and then you're playing a certain sound frequency that is erasing that thought from my mind. So like and there and that dopamine comes in, so it's harder to think about that anymore, right? These
Right.
are the type of modalities that it looks like it's a bunch of hocus nonsense, and then but if you actually really take the time to some people might say it's just a placebo effect, right? But what's
Yes.
better? What is a placebo? It's when your mind is able to convince yourself that it's healed, and then therefore the healing happens.
Yes. Yes.
So does that mean that we actually are capable in our own mind to heal ourselves?
Come on.
The placebo effect proves that. So is it hocus pocus, or or do certain people just knew all along that we were capable of healing ourselves without any outside influence, but they had to trick us into do it?
Right. Right.
They gotta like use all this hocus pocus magic to make it seem like they're doing something, but all they're making you do is go back and go within yourself and heal yourself.
Mhm.
So is that really what magic is? Is us really learning how to tap into our own self?
Our own self. I believe. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Um,
That's a question.
I have a deck here called Believe in Your Own Magic. That's why, because when you practice, and I put on my page this morning, it's not just about the things that we use, it's about your inner power. Because when I get ready to dress a candle or do some type of work, I have to clear my mind and use my energy to put into that work. I cannot practice or do any spell work if I'm in a bad place. And spirit always brings to me that it's about frequencies. You talked about the different sounds, and it's about the frequencies. And I thought about,
Vibration. Yep.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I thought about what you were saying when the chiropractor was tapping, maybe he was raising frequency in my leg. Also, for those that even demonize, I remember coming up in the Baptist church, and it's still like that. Different congregations and people, they used to talk about the people that spoke in tongues. But it's now a phenomenon. They put some chords on the lady. She was dancing and speaking in tongues, and they seen certain areas firing off in her brain.
Yep.
That something was happening. And
Mhm.
so this is why, I say those things we learn in church, don't get rid of everything. I still speak in tongues. Because I always would feel such a power when I would, and after I come out of prayer, things will happen. So we gotta change the frequencies. If you go online and look at the different frequencies, it'll tell you what type of frequency you need in order for this to heal, for that to heal, for that to happen. Even if you just think about it on a from heaven to earth scale, think about you need money or something in your house. I know for me, what we used to do when I was married, we would say, we need to clean the house. We need to clean the house from top to bottom. God wants to bring something through
And
here.
what did you
God
do
wants
when
to
you were
bless.
cleaning out? You put on what?
Gospel music, the music.
See, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, but I know that vibration and sound is so important. What did God say when He wanted to create the earth? What did He do? He said, let,
He said,
let
yeah,
there be light, right? And that's sound.
yes, yes.
So before even light even existed, sound existed.
Mm. You better preach.
Because it was darkness, right? So then the
Yes.
sound, then light. So if sound is a primordial force, then why wouldn't it be able to heal us?
Mm.
Why wouldn't the words that we say? Why wouldn't words be a thing that things could travel to and be a thing a thing that we could use to manipulate to do any? If God can create with light, with sound, I'm sure He could also destroy. And that's
Come
all
on.
that witchcraft is the understanding of the source energy of sound and of light and of like nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Wow. And the fact that they're saying darkness is bad, but darkness was here first.
Darkness
Then
came
came
before
light.
light. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was darkness, then sound, then light.
Woo! My God. Girl. Hi, yeah, yeah,
Right? So they say, oh, you're doing that dark magic.
yeah. Right, right. Like,
That's that dark man. That dark thing. Oh, okay. I understand frequency. I
oh,
understand vibration.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Woo!
That's what is dark magic but creation. Creative energy, right? All darkness.
Yes.
So that's the creative magic. So magic is nothing but the magic that it takes to create. You know.
Yes, that darkness.
I didn't even know I was going to be preaching. Why am I preaching doing your thing? Let me just
Girl, you
leave.
got a word. You got a word. You the prophet of the hour. I'm the apostle, you the prophet. It's every apostle needs a prophet. Fake prophet.
Listen,
Yes. Um, amazing. This is amazing. I wanted to pull a card or two just to give y'all just a overview, a preview of how I flow. Genesis, anything else you want to say? Did
no,
I
I'm
cover
good.
the topic pretty well?
I think you did. I think that we got really deep. We got to talk about medicine. We got to talk about the and I really want because we're gonna do before you pull the cards, I want people to know where to find you at. Because after we're done pulling the card, we're gonna have a final word. Because I know you have to get to your daughter. Hold on one second. A new woman.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
We over here. We mothers over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
We're mothers. We're we're not these evil things that people want to make us out to. Okay.
Right. We're helping people. That's all we want to do is help people.
Is help people. Is help
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me share your page because I really want people to see what you bring to the table. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So this is a Queen Thais page. Go over with your page and some of the things that you have on your page so that people could please could check it out. So you have a new woman. This is her page. A new woman. 08, living
Yes.
life with spirit. So
Yes. I that is the same YouTube page I had when I came on to YouTube 17 years ago. And so what I did was just started sharing my journey. The first thing I shared my journey of how I got to where I am, and to explain to people that's been on my page for when I was a just bona fide Christian where I'm at. And much to my surprise, I didn't lose many people, maybe a few here and there. I've grown quite a bit because I was at 12 point something. I'm at 17 point, 7 point, 17 point, whatever. Y'all see it over there. Um, so that people can see, my journey. I believe in transparency. So on my page, you'll see readings. I do zodiac readings. It was a trial. Somebody, challenged me to do it. And I did the zodiac readings, so to understand how to go into the different energies of the zodiac. I didn't think I could do it because I would watch people on YouTube and would be in absolute awe. Then one day I tapped in and been doing them. I am a teacher. I did a whole series on magic and witchcraft and things like that. So you'll get information on building an altar, candle work, so many things. I have a divine school of magic. I'm talking, you'll see some videos where I'm just talking about life and my revelation and knowledge. I always ask for wisdom. So I believe I am a woman of wisdom. So whatever you need, male, female. Also, I am an advocate for the LGBTQ community, the trans community. I show them mad love. There's a story behind that. But everything about me is there, and I'm teaching, I'm sharing, I keep it real. You're gonna laugh, you probably cry, and I'm gonna make you think. Okay, and if you get mad at me, you're gonna love me after a while. And if that video there is Mama Sunfire, that is a good friend of mine. Me and her was in ministry together. Many of you know Mama Sunfire. That woman is bad to the bone. Okay, she's an EFA herbalist, just bad to the bone. But we were in ministry together. We stood side by side and was ordained evangelists together and been friends ever since. So she knows me. So go over there, take a look, and you will be blessed. You'll be blessed. Any other question, Genesis?
I was saying this one right here was crazy for me. You came to me for help.
Oh, and I
Okay.
fuss too. I fuss. Basically, what I'm saying in there, y'all, is when you go to a practitioner for help and they help your ass, and see, I'm fussing, and stuff start happening, and then you want to get mad at them because this is what they said would happen, and they ask you to do a certain step or not to do something, and you do it anyway, and you get the result that they said you was gonna get. Then you lash out at her, and she done helped you get money. She done helped you get that man. She done helped you get that woman, that house, that car, and then you're gonna act a fool. But you came to her or him for help. How dare you? So I had to set some
Right.
things in place.
So right, that what people do is they get lazy and start thinking, well, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
And listen,
Yes.
you gotta do this, and this, and that. They say, well, I'm gonna just do a half of that. They say, no, I didn't tell you to do half of that. I told you to do this. And so when things don't turn out, they want to blame you and say, well, you what you said wasn't right because you know what I'm saying, did you do the whole prescription? When the doctor give you when you go to the hospital and the doctor
Yes.
tell you to take antibiotics, if you don't take the whole goddamn prescription, you come back sick. Can't get mad at the doctor because you didn't do what you were supposed to do.
That part right there.
People don't understand that us practitioners are called witch doctors, right? Shamans,
Yes.
healers. You know what I'm saying? But the
Mhm.
healing has to come from you first. You have to be the first one to take the step.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It can't be all about the work that we're doing on the back end because we give you a prescription and we have work to do on our end. So if
Absolutely.
we're doing work on our end and you ain't doing what you said you were gonna do, it's not gonna work. The work ain't gonna work. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that you came to me for help. So listen, I will let you take it over from here and be quiet. Let you do your reading. I just wanted to show them your page. It's called A New
Thank you.
Woman 08. Please check her out. I'm gonna post it into the chat real quick so that you guys can check her out. Um, we're gonna bring her back. We're gonna bring her back.
Oh.
She's not off the hook with us. You know what I'm saying?
I've been trying to come and put my feet up, and here she come. Get on here. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm just trying to. And, and I had you on my TV here when Zion was on, and I was working on my candles. I was in heaven, honey. And y'all
All
was
right.
just talking on my big screen, and I was working on my camera. You want to come on? Oh Lord, I was scrambling trying to get. Had to turn my TV off, fix my. I said I got to be ready with Genesis, cause
Right.
honey,
Get out up here, girl.
come
All right.
ready, come ready.
Right.
So
Come ready. So let's go. I'll be quiet.
I want to do a quick 3 card reading so you can see how I flow. I am a prophetess, first and foremost. When I left the Lord's church, I was an apostle. I went through everything: minister, evangelist, prophetess, pastor. Then I was an apostle. So I still flow in that vein, but it's so much better because of the magic and the freedom that I have. So I get to cuss and act a little fool and everything with the church and just be myself. So when you come to me for a reading, say you come to me and you say, I just want my relationship to be better. Say you want me to do some work because I do spell work. And can you do some love work for me in my bag? Honey, I'm not just gonna do the love work for you and your babe. First, I want to read the energy. It's the same thing as when you go to the altar and you say, Pastor, I need some money. I'm gonna lose my house. What the pastor say? Let's pray and see what the Lord say. Same different. So what happens is we get on camera or phone, whatever. I like for y'all to get on camera with me so you can see spirit at work. Because sometimes while I'm doing a reading, on my right side, your ancestor may show up or your spirit guide, and I give you those messages. It's a very powerful experience. So I have my incense, I chime my sound to bring us into oneness together, and then we talk to the cards. And a lot of practitioners say you don't need the cards, especially if they come out of ministry and stuff like that. You don't need the cards, you just need your mind, your spirit. But what I like about the cards, I'm a creative person. As you can see, I'm always creating with my hand. I create oils, I create stuff. I like for people to see what's in my spirit. So this is why I am in love with tarot card reading. Because what I'm saying to you, you can actually see it in the damn cards. That's what makes prophecy for me amp it up. So, because I used to tell people shit, and they'd be looking at me like, okay, frowning up. I've had people lie to me in my face and go back and tell her, did you tell her something? You lied to me. But with the cards, there's no denying, because sometimes we're coming to the reading, I'm prophesying before I even flip the damn cards. And once I flip the cards, it tells your whole life and what you could say. She was right. She said it, and the spirit spoke, and it was shown in the card. So that's why I love tarot card reading. Okay, so if you are new to this, y'all don't shun tarot. Don't shun any type of divination. That's so damn disrespectful. And I'm talking to every practitioner that does that. Okay, don't shun what somebody else is doing, because everybody practices different. All right. Okay, so we have 3 decks here. I call this my dark deck. Okay, it brings stuff out of there, stuff you can't see. When I say dark, what's hidden. This is my other little witchy deck. Has words. That's my tarot card deck here, the one I just showed. This is my oracle card here. Oracle card here, my witchy deck. So we're gonna ask spirit, what is the overall energy of those that's watching? What is the message you want to get to them? What is it you want to say? Okay. Okay. Wow, that's good. That's good so far. I'm gonna go ahead and get these other cards. I can explain them, and then confirm. Spirit. Thank you. And I'll be shuffling forever. I guess because I do it so much. If I'm shuffling forever, it's a problem in my practice. Okay, so the first card that came up is the 2 of Pentacles. All right. This is saying that y'all, somebody out there has choices. You have 2 choices. You're multitasking, you're weighing many options. Now, this is, depending on your situation, this could be a good and bad thing. Okay. And when you look at the Pentacles, that is talking about, I always like to say, your money, but most of all, your protection. And if you look at the back of that, that's a infinity sign. Okay. This is something that has been going on forever. It's not easy. Look at, she's a ballerina on her toes, and it's dark back there. All right. So Spirit is saying, with these 2 options, you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. Okay, here. Spirit said you got to make a choice if you are complaining. Let's stop all that damn complaining and make a choice. All right. Now, if you have 2 options and you're okay with it, just ask Spirit how to balance this, because you need those 2 options in there. It may be something on your job. It may be relationship wise. It may be stuff that's going on in your life. Maybe I see money. Somebody has a couple of avenues of money. Just find a better way to balance the 2. And the infinity sign lets me know this is something that's going to affect your legacy. It's going to be ongoing. Even when you're gone. Oh, thank you, Spirit. It's going to continue to go on. So it's very important that you make the right decision. It's uncomfortable now. Okay. And when you look at a ballerina, they are so elegant. They captivate you when they're dancing, but y'all, under them shoes, honey, their toes are distorted, bloody, bruised. Okay, for the ones that starting, I'm sure the ones that's been doing it for a while is made of steel, but their toes are not gonna look like our toes. So people are looking at your life. Oh, I feel Spirit, and saying, how the hell is he balancing and operating in such a flow? And the darkness is by way of Spirit, your ancestors, your spirit guides. Okay. That's how you're doing it. So you need to make sure that you're giving them homage, that you have your altar set up, that you're honoring them in such a way. And so with this energy, it goes right into friendships. Okay, you are not alone, baby. Don't try to do this alone. Tap into your friendship. Well, I ain't got nobody I can't trust. Guess what? If you keep yapping, we were talking about what you say when it go out to the atmosphere. That's what you're going to manifest. You're not going to have any friends. And I'm sick of women saying, "Oh, women can't be friends." That's what's going to always be. Women can't be friends because that's what you're speaking over your life. Speak something different. I have healthy, whole, trustworthy, beautiful relationship. Women that want to see me get ahead. And so that's what I'm tapping into, especially when I met Genesis and Nepal. Come on, these are women. I have other women in my life. And that was one of my issues in life. Girls were always jealous. But God has blessed me. Spirit has blessed me to have women in my life that want to see me succeed and vice versa. So friendships, that's what's going to help you navigate through these choices. I remember my first time, you'll hear me talk about him a lot. This was such a just a pivotal time in my life. His father, who I love dearly, who's gone on to the other side, Daddy James said, in this lifetime, you get at least one best friend. I have two best friends. I'm so grateful. But in a lifetime, Spirit will bless you with one best friend. Keep that in mind. All right. See how these cards work? This card says affirmation for positive change. I just said that. That's what I mean when I speak prophetically. Okay? So with the choices that you make, with your friendships, if you are a negative Nancy, stop it. Look up affirmations, things that you can say differently. Okay? Some folk are just so damn negative. You don't even want to see them coming. And I sense that energy around here. Okay, somebody that's going to watch this or somebody trying to come out of that mindset, you'll never have what you want. You'll never be able to balance the scale. You'll never have that friend, okay, or those friendships if you don't speak something differently. And so that is the energy that Spirit has, the message that Spirit has for all of you here tonight. Thank you so
Wow,
much for having me on.
that was beautiful. Wow, that was beautiful. Wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. You are a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul.
Oh, thank
May
you.
God continue to bless you. May Oludumare continue to bless you and your
Mhm,
family.
mhm.
May the Orisha and may the spirits and the ancestors continue you in your practice so that you can continue to help and heal other people. I'm so grateful that I've met you, and I would
Yes.
like to thank you so much. Please support our sister, Mrs. Tai,
Mhm,
Queen
mhm.
Tai. Please go to her channel. I just put it up here. I'm going to also leave it in the description as well on the below. Please support her. Did you want to say anything? Was that it, or you want any last thing that you want to say?
I need to chime out because if I don't, y'all gonna have a crazy week. So let me chime out.
Go on ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Spirit, we thank you for this energy. Thank you for Genesis. Thank you for this channel. Continue to elevate and bless. And everybody that watched tonight, we come together as one and we leave knowing that when we come back, it'll be another great time. We thank you for everything. Ashe.
Ashe, oh.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.